Okay, so imagine this. You're about to go into a nuclear engineer interview,
Mm-hmm.
feeling super confident and ready to just, like, wow them
Yeah,
with everything you know. Well, that's what we're hoping to help you do today
exactly.
with this deep dive into some of the most, I think, common but also the most challenging
For sure.
interview questions you might face.
Absolutely.
And to help us do that, we've got these really great guides from RoleCatcher, the career guide, and the interview guide.
Yeah, those will come in handy.
Yeah, think of these like your cheat sheet
Mm.
to interview success.
What's really cool about these guides is they don't just like throw questions at you.
Right.
They actually help you understand what the interviewer is looking for
Yeah,
and how to make your answers stand out, which I think is super important.
for sure. That's key. It's like getting a sneak peek
Yeah,
into
exactly.
the interviewer's brain.
Behind the scenes.
But before we jump into the specific questions, let's just do a super quick recap of what a nuclear engineer actually does.
Yeah.
So the career guide in the what they do section, it talks about, they design and develop equipment and processes for nuclear facilities.
Right.
But it's more than that, right?
Oh, yeah. It goes way beyond just the technical stuff. It's about making sure everything's safe and runs smoothly in these really sensitive environments.
Right.
And that's where the definition section comes in. It talks about how nuclear engineers have this huge responsibility to protect people and the environment.
Okay, so you need to know your stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to show them you can handle the pressure. Got it. Now, the FAQ section of the career guide, it mentions some serious challenges facing the industry, like strict regulations, public perception of nuclear energy.
Yeah, that's a big one.
How do you even bring those things up in an interview without sounding negative or,
Well, I think it's all about framing it the right way. Like, you could say something like, I know the industry has its challenges, but that's what excites me. I want to be part of finding solutions.
I love that.
Just shows you're not just book smart, but you're also thinking ahead and want to make a difference.
Yes. Okay, let's dive into those interview questions now. First one, it's a classic. Can you explain the process of nuclear fission? Now, seems like a simple question,
Mm-hmm.
but I bet there's more to it than just like reciting the definition from a textbook.
Oh, absolutely. They want to see if you can explain it in a way that's clear, concise, and, not too technical. Imagine you're talking to your grandma. Could she understand it?
Right. So start with a basic definition.
Exactly.
Like nuclear fission is when an atom's nucleus splits and releases a ton of energy, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And it happens when a neutron hits the nucleus,
Right.
making it unstable,
Mm-hmm.
and it breaks apart.
Perfect. You got it. And to really impress them, connect it to something real, like how this process is what powers nuclear reactors to make electricity.
Okay, I'm seeing how we can add depth to these answers.
Yeah.
What about follow-up questions? Like, could they ask about the different types of fission or like neutron moderation and all that?
Yeah, they might. So be ready to talk about things like spontaneous versus induced fission, how moderators help control the chain reaction. Brush up on those details.
Okay, be ready to go deeper. Got it. All right, next question is about experience. This one might feel a bit intimidating. What is your experience with reactor design and operation?
It sounds scary, but don't worry. They're not asking you to spill national secrets or anything. They just want to hear about actual projects you've worked on, what your role was, and what the outcomes were. Think of it like telling a story, but with a technical twist.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I have experience,
Yeah.
I could say something like, in a previous role, I worked on a team designing a new cooling system for a research reactor.
Yeah.
My focus was on thermal hydraulic modeling, and we actually achieved a 10% improvement in efficiency. Boom.
There you go. Numbers, results. That's what they like to hear. And you can slip in your skills too, like problem solving, teamwork,
Okay,
attention to detail, stuff like that.
nice. Okay, what about follow-ups on this one? Like, could they ask for more technical details about the project
Yeah.
or like challenges I faced and how I overcame them?
Definitely. Be prepared to explain the whole process from start to finish, the safety measures, what you learned. They want to see how you think, how you approach problems.
This is starting to feel more like a conversation than an interrogation. Okay, let's move on. Safety. This one feels like a big one. How do you ensure safety in nuclear operations?
Oh, yeah, this is huge. Safety is like the number one thing in this field, and interviewers want to see that you get that.
Right.
So talk about your understanding of safety protocols, risk assessment, and how important it is to have a strong safety culture in the workplace.
So I could talk about, like, always following established procedures, conducting thorough risk assessments, and being open with my team about potential hazards.
Exactly. You could even mention specific safety systems, like reactor protection systems, radiation monitoring. It shows, how it all works in practice.
Right, seeing how important details are here. Could they follow up with something like asking about specific safety challenges I've run into or like how I go about mitigating risk?
Oh, for sure. Be ready to talk about your decision-making process, how you stay calm when things get tough, and how you're always looking for ways to improve safety measures.
Safe check. Okay, next up, staying current. How do you stay up to date with developments in nuclear engineering? This is where I get to show off all the cool stuff I'm reading and learning.
Yeah, go for it. This is your time to show them you're passionate about this field and that you're committed to always learning and growing.
Right. So I could mention being a member of like the American Nuclear Society,
Yeah.
reading Nuclear Engineering International, maybe even bring up a webinar I watched recently
Sure.
about advanced reactor designs.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to mention your specific interests, like if you're into fusion energy or nuclear medicine. It shows you're engaged and curious.
Now, what if they asked me to elaborate on a specific development I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
or how I actually apply that new knowledge in my work?
They'll probably want to know that. They want to make sure you're not just passively absorbing information, but actually using it to do your job better.
Okay, stay curious and ready to share. Got it. Okay, now for a bit of a curveball. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a complex problem in a nuclear operation? This feels like a test.
Oh, it definitely is. They're checking out your problem-solving skills, seeing if you can stay cool under pressure. Remember the STAR method.
Okay, STAR. Situation, task, action, result.
Yeah, you got it. Set the scene, describe the problem, outline the steps you took, and then bam, hit them with the positive result. But choosing the right example is important.
Right, right.
What?
What makes a good example?
Pick something that shows off your technical skills, analytical thinking, maybe even some leadership qualities, like did you spot a potential safety issue and fix it before it became a big problem? Or maybe you came up with a clever solution to a tricky technical challenge.
Okay, so it's not just about fixing something. It's about showing how I think on my feet
Exactly.
and how I handle pressure.
Yeah.
What about follow-ups? Could they ask about what I learned from that whole experience or like what I would do differently next time?
Oh, for sure. They want to see if you can reflect on your actions, if you're always trying to improve. They're also checking if you can learn from mistakes so you can make better decisions in the future.
Got it. Okay, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. Now, before we go any further, I want to mention RoleCatcher's AI
Oh, yeah.
because it can really help you prepare for these kinds of questions. It's not just generic advice, it's personalized, right?
Absolutely. It's like having a custom-made interview strategy just for you.
Mhm.
The AI looks at job descriptions and suggests ways to improve your resume so it really catches their eye.
Right. And it also helps you practice your answers and gives you feedback so you can keep getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a personal coach analyzing your every word and gesture.
And don't forget the video practice feature. You can record yourself answering questions, and the AI gives you feedback on how you come across, like your body language and eye contact.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's all about making you feel more confident and prepared.
exactly. So you can walk into that interview feeling like you got this.
All right. You ready to dive back into those questions?
Let's do it. I'm excited to see what else they throw at us.
Me too. I'm feeling more confident already.
That's the spirit. Confidence is key.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
Don't go anywhere, folks. More interview tips coming your way. Welcome back to our nuclear engineer interview deep dive. We covered some pretty intense questions in the last part.
Yeah, we did.
But you're still here, so that means you're serious about acing this interview. And even if you don't get these exact questions, the strategies we're talking about will help you think on your feet
Right.
and show off your expertise no matter what they throw at you.
Exactly. It's about being adaptable.
So-
Okay, so let's say you're in the interview and they hit you with this. How do you ensure compliance with regulatory requirements in nuclear operations? Sounds a little dry, but it's super important.
Oh, yeah, it's crucial. And it's not just about knowing the rules. It's about having a system for actually applying them.
Right.
Showing them you're organized and on top of things.
So maybe I could mention how I stay updated on regulatory changes, like reading industry publications, being part of professional organizations, that kind of thing.
That's a good start. But take it a step further. Mention specific regulations you've worked with, like NRC regulations,
Right.
and describe how you actually implemented them in your previous roles.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I follow regulations,
Right.
which sounds kind of vague.
Yeah.
I can say something like, in my last project, I made sure our design met NRC safety standards by conducting a bunch of simulations and documenting every decision to make sure everything was traceable.
Now you're talking. That shows them you understand the importance of documentation and that you have a system in place.
Got it.
Yeah.
What about follow-up questions for this one? Could they ask about a time I faced a compliance challenge? Or, like, what I would do if I saw a potential violation?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Be ready to discuss ethical decision-making and how you're committed to safety even when things get tough. It's all about showing your integrity.
Integrity. Got it. Okay, next question. Can you describe a time when you had to manage a complex project in nuclear engineering? This one feels a little more familiar, like project management. I've done that.
Yeah, it might. But remember, they're not just looking for basic project management skills. They want to see how you apply those skills in the unique world of nuclear engineering.
Right, so I need to highlight those complexities, the stuff that's specific to nuclear projects.
Ex-
Maybe I could talk about leading the upgrade of a reactor control system and emphasize things like safety protocols, regulatory hurdles, the need for meticulous documentation at every stage.
That's a great example. And remember, quantify your achievements.
Okay.
Did you finish on time?
Right?
Under budget? Did you improve safety or efficiency? Those things matter.
Okay, so I could say something like, by using a new risk assessment method, we identified potential hazards early on, which prevented costly delays and made sure the project was completed on time and within budget.
Perfect. That sounds impressive.
Yeah, I like it. What about follow-ups? Could they ask about my leadership style or how I handled conflicts within the team or like lessons learned from the project?
Definitely. Be ready to talk about teamwork, communication, all those soft skills that are so important when you're working in a high-pressure environment.
Okay, so be a team player. Got it. All right, this next one really gets to the heart of the industry. What are the biggest challenges facing the nuclear engineering industry today? This one's less about me and more about the big picture.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Like I could talk about public perception of nuclear energy,
Yep.
safe disposal of nuclear waste,
Mm-hmm.
competition from renewable sources, the need for constant innovation, that kind of stuff.
That's a good list,
Hmm.
but go deeper than just listing challenges. Analyze them. Like,
Okay.
why is public perception a problem? What are the technical difficulties with waste disposal? How does nuclear energy stack up against renewables in terms of cost and efficiency?
Okay, so for example, I could say something like, while public perception of nuclear energy has been shaped by some, not so great events in the past, it's crucial to highlight how safety technology has advanced and the important role nuclear power can play in fighting climate change.
Excellent. You're showing them you can see the whole picture and think critically.
What about follow-up questions?
Well,
Like, could they ask me what I think should be done to overcome these challenges? Or, like, what role I see myself playing in the future of the industry?
oh, for sure. They want to see you're not just aware of the problems, but that you're thinking about solutions. So be ready to discuss things like new reactor designs, public education campaigns, maybe even international collaborations on waste management.
Okay, so it's about showing I'm thinking ahead and I'm ready to be part of the solution.
Got it.
Okay, next question. Can you describe a time when you had to communicate complex technical information to non-technical stakeholders? That sounds like pretty much everyday life.
It is, and it's a super valuable skill in any engineering field, especially nuclear.
Right.
They want to know if you can explain complicated stuff in a way that anyone can understand.
Like explaining a reactor safety system to people who live near a plant, or presenting a technical proposal to management who might not have a nuclear background.
Exactly. Pick a situation where you had to adapt your communication style, use visuals, and answer questions effectively.
Okay, I could talk about a time when I had to explain the risks and benefits of a proposed nuclear power plant to a community group. I could focus on how I used plain language, avoided jargon, and used visuals to help them get the technical stuff.
Perfect. And don't forget to mention the outcome. Did they understand what you were saying? Were they able to make an informed decision based on your presentation?
Okay, so it's about the impact I had. What about follow-ups? Could they ask about, like, challenges I faced when communicating with non-technical folks? Or different communication strategies I've used?
Oh, yeah. They'll probably want to dig a little deeper. Be prepared to talk about how you analyze your audience, how you tailor your message, and how important active listening is.
Okay, active listening, check. So it's all about making a connection with people no matter their technical background.
That's it. And before we wrap up this section, I want to bring up RoleCatcher's AI again,
Yeah, good idea.
because it can really help you with this communication piece. It's not just about coming up with answers, it's about getting feedback and refining your delivery.
Right, right.
The AI analyzes how you're explaining things
Yeah.
and points out ways to improve so you can get your point across more clearly and effectively.
It's like having a personal speech coach, making sure you sound confident and professional.
Exactly. Remember, practice makes perfect, and RoleCatcher gives you the tools to make that practice really count.
Absolutely. So everyone listening, definitely check out RoleCatcher and all the cool features it has. It's like having a secret weapon for your interview prep.
For sure, it can make all the difference.
Okay, ready for the final round of questions? We've got even more challenges coming your way in part 3. Okay, we're back for the final round of our nuclear engineer interview deep dive.
All right, round 3.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Some seriously tough questions.
Yeah,
But you're still here,
that's right.
which means you're ready for anything.
You got this.
Let's jump into another complex question.
Okay, hit me.
Imagine you're working on a nuclear reactor, and you notice an unexpected temperature spike in the coolant system. What's your initial response?
Okay, so this is a classic scenario-based question.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to see how you think on your feet, how you problem solve under pressure,
Right.
and most importantly, how you prioritize safety
Got it.
and follow procedures.
So first things first, I'd consult the reactor operating procedures.
Yeah,
Right. And take any immediate actions that are outlined for this specific scenario.
exactly. Act fast, but don't panic.
Right, methodically.
You want to show them, the procedures, and you don't just jump into things without thinking.
So I could say something like, I'd immediately isolate the affected area, follow the established shutdown procedures, and then notify the shift supervisor and the safety team.
Perfect, clear, concise, and safety focused.
What about follow-up questions on this one?
Oh, they'll definitely have some.
Like what?
They might ask about possible causes for the temperature spike
All right.
or the specific steps you'd take to isolate the area.
Okay.
They want to make sure you understand how the system works.
The why.
Exactly. And how to think critically when things go wrong.
Got it. So it's more than just following the manual. It's about understanding the reasoning behind it.
Right.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. This next question is about your career path. Why did you choose to pursue a career in nuclear engineering?
The passion question.
Right.
This is your chance to show them why you love this field, what motivates you.
Okay, so I could talk about like always being fascinated by nuclear technology or wanting to contribute to a cleaner energy future.
Yeah.
Maybe even mention a specific person or event that inspired me to go down this path.
Make it personal. Let them see your enthusiasm.
Okay.
You could say something like, I've always been amazed by the power of the atom, and I want to use that power safely and responsibly to help meet the world's energy needs.
I like that. It's combining passion with a sense of purpose.
Exactly.
What about follow-ups here? Because they ask about my specific interests within nuclear engineering
For sure.
or my long-term career goal.
Absolutely. So be ready to talk about things like reactor design, safety analysis, nuclear medicine, research and development. Okay.
And don't be afraid to dream big. Tell them about your aspirations. Maybe you want to lead a team, contribute to scientific breakthroughs, or even influence policy decisions.
Okay, so show them I'm not just here for a job, I'm here for a career
That's right.
that I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've talked a lot about answering questions, but what about asking them? The interview guide mentions that asking thoughtful questions is important.
It's super important. It shows you're engaged, you're curious, you're genuinely interested in the opportunity.
Okay, so what kind of question should I ask? Well, you can ask about the company culture, their commitment to safety and innovation,
Okay.
the specific projects you would be working on. You
Mhm.
could also ask about professional development opportunities,
Right.
the company's vision for the future of nuclear energy, or their approach to mentorship and collaboration.
So it's about getting information that's important to me and showing them that I'm thinking beyond just the day-to-day tasks.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to mention RoleCatcher's AI one last time.
Oh, yeah, it's a game changer.
We've talked about how it can help tailor your resume and practice your answers, but what else can it do?
Well, one of the most valuable things is the personalized feedback it gives you. It analyzes your practice responses and suggests specific areas where you can improve,
Okay.
helping you refine your communication style, eliminate jargon, and make sure your answers are clear, concise, and impactful.
It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket, helping you put your best foot forward.
Exactly. Remember, preparation is key.
Yes.
And RoleCatcher gives you the tools to make that preparation really count.
All right, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into nuclear engineer interview prep.
Hope you learned some valuable tips.
We covered a lot, from technical concepts to safety protocols, project management, career aspirations. The biggest takeaway: practice, practice, practice.
The more you prepare, the more confident you'll be.
And don't forget, nuclear engineering is an exciting field with tons of opportunities.
It is. You can make a real difference.
So go out there, ace those interviews, and help shape the future of this amazing industry.
Good luck.